So a little bit about myself. About 6 years ago, I had just finished graduate school, background in computer science, did a lot of machine learning stuff, and I moved up here. I moved up here for a data engineering role at an online ad targeting startup. During that time, there were no data meetups other than Todd's. So I went to Todd's meetup. It's like 6 years ago. He's the only game in town. I said, wow, this is so great. I want to do my own meetup. And so I did. I started the San Francisco Bay Area Machine Learning Meetup Group. So Todd, thank you for the inspiration. And it started off with maybe me and a couple other folks. And I just kept on personally inviting folks to come to the meetups. And it grew and it grew. And the past couple years, it's grown to be a little bit over 4,000 people. I think, Todd, your group is like, what, 9,000, 10,000 or something like that? Nothing compared to the OG, but it's something. So Todd reached out to me a couple weeks ago, and he was like, Tony, I'm doing this event. This event's about interesting ideas in data science. Would you be interested in giving a talk? I was like, sure. He's like, the only catch is it can't be your work. I was like, all right, I don't think my work's interesting anyhow, so let's talk about other people's work. I was like, what's some interesting ideas out there? I was like, man, there's so many. I was like, you know what? Forget about the ideas. What about the people? What about me? What about Todd? What about Anthony? What about Hunter? What about Peter? I want to know about them. Since running this meetup group 5 or 6 years ago, I met so many interesting people. The ones that stood out to me personally are the ones that are making money, especially the ones making a lot of money. You guys look around, you guys might not know it, but the person next to you might be the next Google acquisition, might be the next Facebook acquisition, whatever. I met plenty of those. I'm sure Todd's met plenty of those as well. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I talk about ways that people have made money with data science and the ways that I personally interacted with these people? Or, basically in a nutshell, how do you make money with data science? And how are people actually making money with data science? It's kind of repetitive, but sorry about that. So yeah, this talk will be about real people, real data scientists, real data engineers who have found creative ways to make money that doesn't involve being a full-time employee. Some of the stories have been changed slightly, and the names have been changed to, for privacy reasons. I didn't reach out to these guys and ask for permission to tell a story, so I'm just changing it up a little bit. The people watching later, sorry if this is you. I'll take you out for drinks or something. Change the details a bit so they won't know who you are. So before we start, let's do a quick survey. Actually, I'm really nervous here now. If you guys can't tell, if everyone could do me a quick favor, raise your hand up, just whichever hand. Keep it up if you have a full-time job right now. All right. Keep it up if you're doing something on the side that's bringing you some extra income. Wow. Awesome. Cool. Raise your hand up if you want to make extra money. I'm surprised not everybody, but sure. All right. So I want to tell you guys a couple stories, 5 stories to be exact. The first story is about my buddy Frankie. Not his real name, but it is his real name. So Frankie, if you go to my meetup, you'll meet Frankie. Frankie's at almost every meetup that I host. Frankie, please PhD, school, please PhD, postdoc, all this nonsense. Well, not nonsense, but all this stuff. And he found his dream job. Dream job turned out to be just him going to meetings. When he's not in meetings, running Hive, Hadoop jobs, Spark, whatever jobs. And when he's not doing that, he's doing more meetings. When he's not doing that, he's just writing some script to support his other scripts that are running these Hadoop MapReduce jobs. How many people have jobs like that? I did too, sorry. Nothing wrong with that, but different folks, there are different strokes for different folks. So Frankie was like, 6 months ago, Frankie was like, I'm kind of tired of this. There should be more to life than just, going to these meetings and running these jobs and just waiting for the results and just making sure that the results are okay. Forget it. I'm just gonna quit. That's what Frankie said. He said, I'm just gonna quit. Put in his 2-week notice, left, and for a couple weeks he was unemployed, And during that time, he was asking himself, what do I want to do in my life? He was like, you know what things did I enjoy? What things did I enjoy doing? Well, one of the things Frankie enjoyed doing was teaching. When he was in graduate school, he was a TA for a couple classes, and even before that, he was doing tutoring to make money on the side. So Frankie was like, I love teaching. Why don't I go back to teaching? Why don't I teach something? And no, he was just looking around. One day he went to a supermarket and he saw this flyer for an after-school program for teaching kids how to program. He's like, if these guys can do it, I can do it too. So you know what Frankie did? He went down to Cupertino, leased a space, and him and his buddy started teaching kids how to program. How many people here have kids, by the way? I don't have kids. How many people know people with kids? Yeah. Here's something crazy for folks. One of my old coworkers, a couple of my old coworkers, would pay $80 an hour for someone to teach their kids how to swim, basically, right? So imagine the kind of money that Frankie would make just by teaching kids how to code. So what Frankie did next was he did the same approach as the other company that he saw. He printed out a bunch of flyers, went around the supermarkets, and just handed out flyers, and just got people in. The first week he opened, he had like 1 or 2 students. After that, he grew and he grew and he grew. So what are the costs involved with this, right? First cost is renting a spot. Second cost is going out and marketing. Third cost is just grading, presenting the material, and just coming up with the material, right? So that's Frankie. So I call him Frankie the teacher. Second story I want to tell you about is Jamie. Similar story to Frankie, but she was okay with doing the Hadoop jobs or Spark jobs or whatever. She thought it was fun. More power to her. Jamie also was kind of, a little bit bored with work, but, content with staying there. And she was like, how can I make money on the side? I want to keep my full-time job. How can I make money on the side? So one day, Jamie met this designer at a conference, and the designer was like, I'm doing this workshop next week. Totally come check it out. It's with General Assembly. And Jamie was like, what's General Assembly? And so the designer was like, it's this sort of boot camp / academy where they teach you skills, and just people pay to attend workshops. You put together whatever material you want to teach, and they'll host it for you. They'll do the marketing for you. They'll just take all they ask in return is a small cut. It's actually a big cut, but I'll get to that later. But so that's what Jamie did. Jamie was like, I'm going to teach people how to program. I'm teach people how to code in Python. So Jamie put together a 2 hours. Jamie put together a presentation that lasted 2 hours, and reached out to the General Assembly and was like, I would like to teach a workshop on how to program Python. Would you be interested in having me? They said yes. A couple weeks later, they made it happen. She made a good amount of money. So did General Assembly. Everyone was happy. So that's Jamie. The cost involved with that, similar to Frankie's, she had to spend time making the lectures, making the slides. She didn't have to grade the assignments, but the one thing she didn't have to do was marketing and finding a venue. So just another idea for you guys. Right. So I call her Jamie the workshopaholic. Next story. I think you guys will like this. Ricky. I call him Pretty Ricky. He's a really handsome guy, actually, if you ever go to one of my different story. So Ricky currently is a student. He has his background. His background isn't in computer science, isn't in math, or isn't in anything that has to deal with data science at all. I think he majored in English or something. But later on in his life, he decided, hey, I want to become a data scientist. So why don't I just take classes, go to school, and actually become an official, a proper data scientist. So in doing so, he knew that he was at a disadvantage because he didn't know how to program. So what he did was he's taking all these classes, and as he was taking these classes, he created workshops, and people actually attended them. And he was like, these workshops are great, but they're taking up so much time. Only way I make money is every time I teach a class in person. There must be a better way. So you know what Ricky did? Ricky recorded himself teaching these courses and posted them on this site called Udemy. And what Udemy is basically a learning portal where you can record yourself teaching whatever topic you want, and people will pay to actually watch your lectures. Ricky actually allowed me to disclose the numbers. Let me get a gauge of what people, how many folks here know what Udemy is? Yeah. Let's say for like an intro to Python class, how much money do you think Ricky would be making in a month? And what throw out a number? 100? Sure. Anyone else? I tried like a little over 3,000. Not bad, right? Especially not bad for San Francisco. So I really like Ricky's approach. It scales. It's basically you record yourself once, post it up. If after Udemy approves it, you're basically just collecting money passively. So I'll call him Ricky, the Udemy instructor. So the question is, how can you? I'm talking about all this stuff, but I want you guys to take away something from it. How can you replicate these results? So the first thing you can do is brainstorm topics that you can teach. For example, intro to JavaScript, intro to Python, data science for designers, and just think about if you're kind of new to the field, just think about back to Ricky. Ricky didn't have any idea what he was doing, but he just tried it, and people actually bought it. If you want to see what's popular out there, just check the course listings on like these sites, and you'll see like what people are actually buying, what people are actually reviewing. Second step is, you want to do a workshop, just reach out to these boot camps. If you don't have a contact there, feel free to hit me up. I can introduce you to these people. You want to take Ricky's route, just make the lessons and record them and post them up and get feedback. And eventually, if you keep at it, they'll post up your slides, and hopefully you'll be making money. How much time do you have, Todd? Okay, I'll make it real quick. So my next buddy is Sherm. Sherm loves t-shirts. He loves very expensive t-shirts. One day, Sherm's like, you know what? I'm going to make t-shirts. Actually, let me take a step back. Sherm used to be a product manager, and before that, he used to be a machine learning engineer at one of these big companies. One day, similar to Frankie, he said, F it, I'm going to do some consulting. After he did consulting, he was like, F consulting, I'm going to make t-shirts. And so he made t-shirts for a little bit, but he wasn't making the money that he wanted to. So it's like, you know what? Why don't I build something? Why don't I use data science to increase my shirt sales? So he created these Twitter bots, created these Instagram bots that followed and interacted with people at the right time of day. So he figured out what the right models were to actually interact with people, what the right models were to message people, just so that they can engage with the brand, just so that they can actually know what the brand is. And he was making a lot of money from it. So we're short on time, so I'm going to go through this real quick. How do you replicate this, right? For folks who aren't technical, what you would do is first learn how to program, and then the tools you need would be a scraper, maybe a numerical scientific analysis library. You'll also need a Twitter and Instagram client. Come up with a bunch of models that you think are appropriate for modeling behavior, interactions with people, appropriate models for just whatever you want to model. And if you want to create a t-shirt business, there's this cool company called Teespring where you can put up your designs for t-shirts, and when enough people have bought those shirts, they'll start printing them out and sending out, and we'll send them out to you, for you. Last story, my buddy Dan. Dan loves the movie The Wolf of Wall Street. When the movie The Wolf of Wall Street came out, Dan was working also in ad tech, and he was like, wow, I wish I could live the lifestyle of Leonardo DiCaprio in this movie. So what also happened was he was like, well, I wonder if there's a way for us to apply, our background to, Wall Street. So he's looking around, he's talking to people, and he met these guys who worked at these quant hedge funds. And the more he got to talking with them, the more he's like, you know what? I'm going to take whatever money I have from working this full daytime gig, and I'm going to play around with the market. So he created a couple of algo trading strategies, tested them out, and he lost money for the first couple months. But after that, he broke even, and then now he's making a little bit of money. And if you guys want to talk more about that, I can definitely talk to you guys a little bit more about it afterwards. But if you want to replicate this, if you guys are data scientists, data engineers, whatever, if you guys want to play around with this idea, Back then we didn't have this, but there's companies like Quantopia and Quantix where you can write your models according to their API, according to their IDE, and they'll have backtesting. They'll backtest your strategy for you. They'll give you like some metrics to compare it against. If you want to not do algo trading, you want to have models, but you want to trade by hand, there's this app called Robinhood where the transaction fees are basically free. There's no transaction fees at all. If you want to know more about like different strategies, there's a great podcast called Chat with Traders. Social media, you do stock tweets, Twitter, everyone's talking about stocks and making money on there. Summary, there's a lot of ways to make money. We talked about teaching, trading, monetizing software. Other ways are, I've seen people who have done recruiting, I've seen people who wrote books, blogs, do referral sites, plenty of ways to make money. The point is, you don't have to wait till tomorrow, you start today. And actually, my question, my challenge to you guys is, how would you go about making $100 by next week that doesn't involve your full-time gig? And if you want to, I'd love to talk to you guys more about it. So shoot me an email if you have any questions, crazy ideas, or any ideas of how you would go about making money $100 by next week. If $100 is easy for you, how about $1,000? $1,000 easy for you, how about $10,000? If $10,000 is easy for you, come talk to me. I would love to talk to you. And if you want to, I'm trying to collect more stories. So if you guys want to hear more about the stories, there's a little link here that I'll give to Todd. But yeah, love to talk to you guys about making money. Let's make money together. Thank you guys.